Hello. I'm Camille Saunders, professional witch, doing a new moon in Virgo collective tarot reading today. I'm just getting started, making sure I have all of my things going live everywhere. Hopefully, this is going to Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So, let me just take a moment to get those solidified and then we will begin. Okay. I think we are good on the Instagram side. Let me see here. Okay, well, I can't quite tell if the Instagram thing got figured out. So we are just going to go ahead and get started. But like I said, thank you for coming to the new moon in Virgo collective tarot reading for August 22nd. Today I'm on August 21st, 2025, but technically the new moon enters Virgo at I think about 11 p.m. Friday, August 22nd. And I'm doing this reading as part of the Everyday Tarot podcast, which is your daily dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille Saunders, healer, tarot enthusiast, and your local witch next door. And today, like I said, I'm talking about the new moon in Virgo, which is occurring Pacific time around 11 p.m. Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers daily insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for fresh perspectives and empowering guidance from the tarot as interpreted by me on the Everyday Tarot podcast. The New Moon Collective Tarot Reading is something I'm doing every new moon, so look forward to that every month. If you want an individual card pulled for you once a month live on this podcast during the New Moon Collective Tarot Readings, join the Everyday Tarot Patreon family at the Lovers level, which I have linked here on the side with the QR code. So that is how you sign up for that. Let's see here. If you'd like to support the podcast even further, you can get a one-time individual 5-card reading in addition to all the other benefits, all of my PDFs I create, or different workshops if you join at the Witch Bitch level on the Patreon. And if you love the show, the best way to support it for free is by listening daily, leaving a review, and subscribing or following in your favorite podcast app. I'm offering a 12-week Tarot for Transformation live course starting in September. So if you're interested, I'll have the link to sign up for more info about that as well. And if you're interested in a free PDF with the 2025 5-card tarot spread I created just for you at the beginning of this year, you can get that by joining my newsletter list. My weekly newsletter always has the most up-to-date information on upcoming events, presentations, musings, and more. And if you don't already know, I'm a sex and relationship therapist and coach, seeing clients virtually from my home office. I love working with queer, poly, and witchy clients, so if you'd like to work with me, head to my website and book a free consultation now to start your journey. So you can find the links for any of these offers in the show notes or on my website, CamilleSaunders.com/everydaytarot, in addition to the images of the cards I pull on each episode. All right, so like I said, today we're talking about the new moon entering Virgo and doing a collective tarot reading. So I did some research about the new moon in Virgo, so I'll talk about kind of the description of what to expect with that. And then we will go into a new moon in Virgo 2025, lunar magic for self-perfection and fresh starts collective tarot reading. All right, I'm going to light some incense and everything. I am going to get into the vibe and we're going to go ahead and get started here. Okay. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to light my candle and get some incense going. I'm using some Sea Witch Botanicals White Lodge Essential Oil Incense. Quite lovely. Okay. Okay. I'm just doing the socials things. Apologies as I get everything sent out so people can watch live, because that is the fun part. Okay. Okay. All right. I got that sent out. So let's head into it. So, yeah, let's talk about Virgo season. We are exiting Leo season here and entering Virgo season in 2025, which is all about turning the sacred into the ordinary. So like I said, it'll be August 22nd. The sun leaves Leo and Virgo season begins. This year, the season is an invitation to remember the sacred lives in the ordinary. We are entering a time of realignment, a time to cultivate devotion while immersed in mundane tasks. And I am reading this from moonomens.com about Virgo season 2025. Um, Virgo season is an opportunity to embrace humility while making sure we're not shaming or punishing ourselves for our imperfections. Virgo is great at organizing and structure, but also can be hard on itself. So, that we're also being called to be a bit nicer and gentler to ourselves in Virgo season here, which can be hard. I always think of Virgo season as like back to school season. And again, we often start school or new things with all of this like energy of like, I'm going to do everything right, right? Like, I'm not going to get behind. I am not going to do this or that. And then, right, inevitably, like we can't keep up that perfection. We are not perfect. No one is. And so, that can feel challenging. So, Virgo season in 2025 is a significant time for people born with planets or angles in mutable signs like Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. The season offers them an opportunity to redirect their focus and recognize where their energy gets scattered or drained, right? So, we're also evaluating. Again, it's back to school season, right? Like, we have to change our habits maybe from summer. We are called to release patterns of perfectionism and renew our commitment to personal and spiritual growth without self blame or judgment. Um, as we move, so during Leo season, the sun, right, inspires us to go into the spotlight, right? It's often the hottest time of year, right? Literal sun time, at least in the northern hemisphere, we allow ourselves to be seen, right? We're out there, we're doing all the things, and we're living with this open heart, right? Like, I know, again, here where I live, it's like we have so many hours in the day, sun hours in the day in the summer, that it's like, I'm just going to do the most, right? I'm going to do everything. I'm going to work. I'm going to play. I'm going to travel. I'm going to swim, right? I'm going to just going to be out there. And this was a time to cultivate, right? Generosity, deepen our relationship with creativity, be like the main character energy of our own lives instead of watching from the sidelines. I know for me, that meant like, going to vending at Tacoma Pride or going and presenting at a fantasy convention in Chanticon to talk about my deep love of tarot and obsession with divination and thinking about how it is all wrapped up in the Harry Potter series. That's what I'm doing this season on the podcast. And so, right, I was out there literally, right? I traveled last week. I was in St. Louis, Missouri. I got to literally, right, be in front of people, step into spotlight again, sometimes literally, right? Doing theater things, just being out in the sun is what Leo season is all about. Um, And it gives us this invitation to sign and like choose our true presence over performance, right? It's not just about performing, it's about what is our authenticity about. And as the sun leaves Leo, as we enter Virgo season, the focus shifts more inwardly, right? Again, if we think, I just always think of back to school season, even though I'm like in my 30s. And I mean, I went to grad school, but it's been a minute since I was in school. And I don't actually want to go back to school right now, but there is this shift of like, what am I, what are my personal practices, what's my routine, right? Like maybe you let go of some of those things you took on in the summer when you had more energy, and we're moving into, again, like our center of gravity gets closer to the ground. Virgo's connected with harvest season, like, right, like we're saving seeds, we're separating the wheat from the chaff, like we're doing all these processes that have to do with like purification, selection, and discernment. Again, we're kind of like, it's all laid out in front of us, and what are you going to choose? Um, Interestingly, in sort of medical astrology, Virgo rules the gut, particularly the small intestine. So, right, we might be digesting things literally and metaphorically, right, which is connected to the sign. And again, like when you were in our perfectionism, right, often that is maybe where we get those like nausea, uncomfortable butterflies, right? Speaking in front of crowds, like all of those things are very much related to like the gut. And so we also have to think about being aware of the impact of what we consume, again, like literally, right? And metaphorically, differentiating between like what is useful and what is not, like what is nourishing me and what is not, and taking the time we actually need to digest not only food, right? Again, literally, but also our experiences. Um, and as the sun enters Virgo, we move into this like sacred in the ordinary. Again, like what am I doing daily, right? With routines, like noticing details, taking care of what might seem like small or insignificant things, like taking time to, I don't know, like moisturize or like do, again, like actually take stock of your habits. But in Virgo season, right, we like can bring this reverence into our routine. That again, like it's not just that I'm putting on moisturizer, it's that I'm nourishing my body, right? I'm giving it what it needs. I am like taking care of myself. I'm again like I'm literally nourishing, right, my skin, which is our body's largest organ. So Virgo teaches us not like us about service, but that service is not about self-sacrifice or self-abandonment, right? Just doing things for others, but it's about being committed to showing up with integrity, humility, and care for ourselves and others. And so it's time to like bring order to where there's chaos, right? Again, as we move from summer, like harvest, like my garden is chaos right now, like it's overflowing. And actually, just this week, I had that like desire to like clean up a bit, declutter, like take out some plants that were kind of sickly and that I knew weren't going to be thriving, and they're shading out other things, right? Again, this is a very like literal and metaphorical version of like taking stock. Like, okay, this plant, right? It's past its time. It's getting powdery mildew. It's sick. I'm going to take it out, right? Put it in my compost pile so it can nourish later. um, but that, right, I'm going to make room for new things. So we're also being invited to bring the spiritual down to earth, the sacred into the ordinary, our physical body as our temple, our relationship with work as service. So the sun's journey through Virgo reminds us that washing dishes can be a meditation, preparing food can become a prayer or a ritual, and that every daily task can be performed as this ritual. This season reminds us that devotion is not built on grand gestures, but on consistent, mindful practice, which is just lovely. So, as we again think about this Virgo season in 2025, so the new moon is at 22 um, degrees, I believe, of Virgo, a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, as well as a new moon solar eclipse at 28 degrees, 59 feet of Virgo. I'm trying to interpret the astrology here. Um, right, this first new moon in Virgo, like the first thing took place on August 23rd, or right, August 20, depending on your time zone. So I think for me, it's August 22nd and late in the evening in Pacific time. And the sun and the new moon in Virgo will square Uranus and Gemini. And this is the first time we are going to experience a sun Uranus square since Uranus changed signs. So this it talks right this so Gemini, right, is a air sign, kind of like overactive, restless mind, need for stimulation, constant information, which can go into overwhelm and disrupt our emotional and physical health, right? This timing allows us an opportunity to break free from that perfectionism, to sort of revolutionize our daily lives and restructure our beliefs about health, healing, work, and service. The full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces happens on September 7th, so right upcoming soon, right? Right now we're in the new moon. Right, 2 weeks later, we move into the full moon, so on September 7th. And the lunar eclipse in Pisces will be conjunct the north node of the moon, which reminds us that the endings are new beginnings in disguise. Again, Pisces is like the end of the zodiac season, Aries is the beginning. So, right, we're sort of ending in this Pisces season and like entering something new. The event will be powerful to a time to close cycles, let go of old, releasing patterns and habits that keep us from growing. Um, and like I said, the lunar eclipse in the last sign of the zodiac will ask us to surrender our ambitions, our ideals, our plans, and our attachment to outcomes to be truly open to receive what life has in store for us. Um, so, yeah, this season is all about realignment, discernment, and humility. Um, the South Node is still traveling through Virgo. We're going to be reminded to be mindful of the trap of perfectionism, overthinking, and excessive criticism of self and others. There are like some shadowy parts of this sign that can be emphasized when the South Node is here, whereas the North Node is in Pisces, which is asking us to surrender our attachment to plans, right? Pisces is all about the big picture, that just sculpt like being receptive to what life is asking of us, very dreamy also, right? Like saying like, sure, you can have your concrete your Virgo ideas about what you think things should be, and then I'm going to be over here in Pisces telling you like this is what the future actually holds. Virgo season reminds us that to embrace humility doesn't mean blaming or punishing or shaming ourselves or others for imperfections. And during this, right, as we come into eclipse season, we'll have a lot of opportunities to release rigidity, self judgment, obsession with being in control, and give ourselves permission to make mistakes and be human. This is a time to remember that healing is not a linear path and growth does not require perfection, which is lovely, right? Because if it did, like, we would all be screwed. um, all right, so that is just and again, this was from moonomens.com, talking about Virgo season 2025 that I was pulling this from. But let's get into a little bit more of tarot, into our collective tarot reading time here. All right, so let's see. Okay. Yeah, so this isn't just any Virgo new moon. We're going to have, it's the first of two in a row. So next month's new moon will be to kind of at the end of Virgo season. So we're going to have like the 2 in 1 month. So bookending the cycle with a double dose of Virgo. The first one that we're entering now sets the stage for reflection, clarity, and renewed commitment. While the second will be more about culmination and karmic turning points. Um, I've talked a bit about where the other planets are going to be. So Mercury is going to move out of retrograde shadow in Leo. So we're going to have some clarity return because Mercury is Virgo's ruler. And so we're going to move into a bit of like a better position there. With Jupiter in Cancer, trining the North Node in Pisces, we're going to enter more emotional abundance, karmic healing, and releasing perfectionism, right? That's the name of the game right now. And with Pluto out of bounds and Uranus stationing retrograde, we're going to enter some of these like revolutionary currents and truth revelations and shifts in collective power dynamics. Um, As we think about Virgo, the symbol of it is a man's head. The symbol represents maturity, individuality, and the essence of character. In today's context, this archetype applies to all people, right, regardless of gender, but talks about the way our inner values are reflected in our outward presence. It reminds us that character is destiny. So, again, calling for self-criticism for self-perfection, right? Like not moving from this place of shame, but like we're refining, right? We're strengthening, we're recognizing what we want to keep and what we're letting go of. We are moving into integrity and authenticity, clarity of purpose. We're going to see the path ahead, right? Pisces is helping us do a bit of that, and distancing from some like not so great situations. And we're going to earn respect by holding to our own principles and thoughtful choices, right? Again, this is the more um, the opposite of shadow side of Virgo is that we get to, right, have structure. We get to create our own routines. Um, and on the collective, this lunation, right, this moving, this new moon in Virgo is going to be a turning point with work, health, and systems of service. So expect different kind of like restructuring in healthcare, food production, public service sectors, technology, and environmental revelations. They might be disrupting old patterns. There's going to be a shift in like different kinds of authority. And we're going through kind of like a detoxification cosmically of just like the way that society is functioning or not functioning very well. So some of those systems are going to be dismantled and replaced with solutions that prioritize wellness and resilience and adaptability. And again, this Virgo like double lunation, so right, two new moons both in Virgo season are going to provide a nice like shift as we move into the 2025 through 2027 like energy. um, Individually, we're going to see a bit more of, again, reassessing routines, releasing our own perfectionism while still having like looking towards improvement, making conscious choices, taking like courageous steps, right? Like, again, like it's not that things aren't going to be hard, but we're going to have bravery as we move forward in these new systems and like setting new things in place. And again, perhaps like getting freedom from draining jobs or relationships or habits. All right, here. So let's move into the new moon in Virgo guidance with a tarot spread here. So I'm going to pull 5 cards. We're going to talk about, yeah, 5 different things. I'll talk through it as we go. And I think I'm going to pull from my Herb Crafters tarot deck today because it's just feeling chatty today is how it's I was recording podcast episodes earlier and I kept coming up, so I'm just gonna go with that here. So, all right, like I said, we're gonna pull 5 cards for this new moon in Virgo tarot spread. Let me move something out of the way here so I have more room for cards. All right, I'm gonna do a little clearing energy here. All right, we're clearing. Okay. Virgo season, what do you have to share with us today? What messages do you have? What do we need to know as we enter this? Okay, so I got 2 cards already. Let me keep going and get them all laid out, and then we'll see how we go. Okay, so 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so the first card I pulled is Hemlock, which is the Emperor. So the number 4 card in the major arcana. And this is what needs organizing right now. So again, when we think of the Emperor, we think of rigidity and structure, right? Routine, right? Our walls, our boundaries on things. So let's take a look at what is in the deck. And actually, I'll show you here, but even the card image itself has this sort of structure to it, right? We have like difference. You see the tiny hemlock pine pine cones, which is how this is like Western hemlock tree. So this is how I identify hemlock. I mean, the needles, you can kind of tell they're very wispy, but the tiny pine cones are one of the main ways. Oh, we're getting a little out of focus here, but um, yeah, so that is hemlock. But yeah, again, we have like shapes, boundaries, right? Okay, so let's find hemlock in here. The Emperor. Building strong boundaries, a sturdy structure supports abundant growth and own your authority. So it depicts a square mandala lies on a wooden table. An 8-pointed star made of hemlock cones form the centerpiece. 4 small houses crafted of branches grow out of the star. Sprigs of hemlock separated by yellow rose petals adorn the top and bottom, and hemlock cones and tips form an expansive rectangular framework around the piece. So this is about a strong foundation and safe environment to help build a solid future. So hemlock is ideal for framing houses because it's a soft wood that toughens with age. So trust your boundaries. They may feel pliable at first, but they will strengthen over time. By creating the conditions for other plants to thrive, hemlock is an important part of a healthy ecosystem. Build a reliable scaffolding on which your sacred work can grow. Step into leadership with confidence. All right, and like I said, this refers to the evergreen conifer tree, the hemlock, not the like dangerous herbaceous flowering plant poison hemlock. This is like Western hemlock, the evergreen tree. Okay, so back to the spread here to remind myself, but this was what needs organizing right now, right? Our boundaries. This is perfect, right, for Virgo season. Okay, so next we have a perfectionist habit to release. And I pulled the 10 of Fire, which is comfrey. I'll show you here. Let's see here. There we go, sort of. So we have comfrey in the back there, and we are making like a poultice maybe or something. It will tell us in the description for the plant, but fire, 10 of fire. Comfrey. There can be too much of a good thing. Stop, step away, soothe yourself, cut it down, and it roars back to life. So I will hold this up as I describe it, but we have piles of comfrey fill a basket on a crafting table. Leaves hang above the stove to dry. The counter is scattered with jars and beeswax. Oil drips onto the wooden surface. The bulging apothecary spills over with medicine and has little room for any more. Peace follows overwhelm. You may be overextended, right? This is what we're letting go of. Don't be overextended. Doesn't help, especially going into the cooler season of the year. The shelves in this room are full, yet the crafting continues. Rest and replenish so your experiences can take root. Refresh your love of creating by releasing some self-imposed responsibilities. Comfrey quickly becomes burdensome and difficult to manage. If you have any in your yard, you probably know this, but it will regenerate after harsh cutting. I just cut mine back and it's already like a foot tall again. Even a small amount can flourish quickly onto a new plant. Commit to just a few tasks, set the rest aside. Pushing too hard will lead to waste and exhaustion. Do not be afraid to give away some of your creative ideas. When you harvest too much, let what you cannot use feed the soil for next season's growth, which is what comfrey is all about. Comfrey is a great plant to use as mulch, cut it back because again, it regrows quickly, it flourishes, right? And it actually looks better often after you fully cut it back to the root. It's a very deeply rooted plant. It's part of why it's hard to get rid of and a bit hard to manage. It loves kind of, at least in my understanding of it and where it is in my yard. I did not plant it, it was there. It loves like the wettest, lowest part of the yard. It's right under, it's in like full shade in a area of my yard that's right next to like a gutter or like an overhang, so it gets a lot of moisture right there, and it kind of is a very low dark area of the yard that a lot of other things don't grow in, so that's also part of why. But again, so this is our perfectionist habit we're releasing, which is overextension, right? We're taking on too much. Our shelves are full. Like, stop, right? It's saying like we're refreshing, maybe give some of those jars away if your shelves are full, right? I'm about to move. I'm all about giving things away right now. And making room for new things to come in, because otherwise new things won't come in when there's no room. All right, so our third card we are pulling is a principle to live by moving forward. I got the Three of Earth, which is raspberry. I'm loving my raspberries right now. So here, I'll pull it up in here and then since it describes it for you. Okay, this is the Three of Earth. Raspberry, here, fill your basket with companionship and collaboration, nourish your body, and savor simple pleasures. So, right, we have baskets of raspberry and the plants behind them. Baskets of juicy red berries sit on the grass on a bright summer day. 2 rows of raspberries extend down a clover-filled path towards the foothills of the verdant mountain. The bushes overflow with flowers and fruit. The ripe ones come easily. Cedar trees line the boundary of the land. The sun shines blue with small, puffy white clouds. Company brings joy to hard work. You have a responsibility to tend the abundance you have been given. There is much to do with fruitful raspberry. Jellies, pies, syrups, vinegars, baskets, and medicine. Teamwork multiplies productivity. Invite others to join you, right? So, for our principle to live by is collaboration, right? Like companionship. Trust your leadership and organizing skills. Approach people with clear expectations and agreements. As first year raspberry canes create the foundation for second year canes to fruit. That's like what the part of the plant is called that creates new fruit the next year. Create value for generations to come, right? Don't just think of here's 1 year, here's 2 years. Think of what are you leaving behind for the next 10 years? Together with your community, you can build a strong legacy. Raspberry tea, rich with minerals, tones weakened tissues and energizes the body. You are competent and up to the task, but keep yourself strong. Also, raspberries are just plain delicious. Remember to enjoy the sweetness of life. So that is our principle to live by moving forward, or to live by. Okay, so for our fourth card, how to ground my intentions. And we got Death, Marigold. I love all these cards, to be honest, but we have a beautiful ritual altar here. So this is the Major Arcana Death card, which is number 13, I believe. Yes. Honor that which is passing, celebrate the beauty and fragility of life, and welcome endings. So 13 beeswax candles glow inside a mandala of Sempatutul marigold flowers in a dark room. The calavera, the skull, is painted in striking purples, blues, and greens, or purples, reds, and greens, illuminated in the center. Delicate and powerful papel picado, so cut tissue paper flags, frame the top and bottom of the mandala. Monarch butterflies are drawn to the rich scent of the flowers. All things come to an end, so find closure so you may accept renewal. First, pay homage to what must die. It has given you life. The rich scent and vibrant color of the marigold is said to lead the souls of the beloved dead home, so we may celebrate them and the lives they lived. Honor your experiences as they pass. Like the delicate paper flags, life is fragile and fleeting. Delight in the beautiful moments as the bright marigold flowers will eventually wither and fade. Embrace this time of transition. A sacred contract is reaching completion, so let the petals fall. How lovely there. And then finally, we are pulling the card for the authentic self I am growing into. And I pulled Five of Air, which is white sage. A very powerful plant. 5 of Air. I'm having fun with this because I'm still getting to know this deck. It's my newest one. Let's see here. There we go. A little bit better. So the 5 of air, white sage, Salvia apiana. Long-held beliefs may not be rooted in reality. Refuse to go along with the crowd. Believe the threatened and oppressed ones. A healthy white sage plant grows in a pot on a well-worn concrete doorstep. The plant is small but strong. The home is old but well cared for. The basket holds sprigs of freshly harvested sage. Several leaves are wrapped into bundles with red string. The loose leaves will be saved for medicine. Nothing will be wasted. A spiritual crisis challenges long held beliefs. Though your conscience pulls at you, you are reluctant to let go of your opinions. Rise to the challenge, accept the truth. White sage has become a trendy spiritual tool. It is sacred to many of the indigenous people of North America whose traditions are widely misused. Development and erosion also threaten the survival of the species. White sage is teaching us how to protect what is holy. It rids the air of toxins but is also a valued medicinal. Clear the path, listen to others, and make room for healing. Seek a solution that is beneficial to all, and that is the authentic self that we are growing into. So it says if you want to craft with the 5 of air card, you can familiarize yourself with the origins of your spiritual tools, where the botanicals are grown, and where the practices come from. Get to know plants local to you for burning and sacred rituals of your own making, and listen to conservationists. Support United Plant Savers' efforts to preserve this plant. And don't buy white sage. That's the other one. You can buy sage plants to grow yourself, to cultivate, or from seed. You can buy culinary sage or use other herbs and create your own bundles for smoke clearing or cleansing that you would like. But yeah, that is what we are being called into today. Okay, I think that seems to be all the sort of messages here that I'm receiving for this new moon and collective tarot pull. So again, thanks for joining me today. I'll be doing the new moon collective tarot reading every new moon. So I will see you again in September. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Like I said, the deck I referenced today is the Herb Crafters Tarot. Written by Letitia Guthrie and artwork by Joanna Powell Colbert. I love it. When I was doing my Tarot and Plant Allies season, I kept coming across it online as a reference material. I didn't have any plant or botanical decks myself, and I'd be looking for one for years that I liked. I didn't find any that I liked. When I kept referencing this one, and I love that it shows the plant and also ways to use it. It's herb crafting, right? It is this very witchy practice of actually using plants and like getting to know them and their essence. So I really love this deck. Highly recommend. So again, called the Herb Crafters Tarot. And I will have that linked as well. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I need to say before we end. If you want to join me on the journey of using the tarot for transformation, you can go to my link tree or click on the link in the show notes to indicate your interest to get more info. We'll be working together for 12 weeks of calls and journaling to discover what happens when we want to transform our lives through the tarot. Like I said, links for the tarot decks I talk about will be in the notes and on my website if you'd like to look at them or purchase them. And thanks for joining me today on this New Moon Collective Tarot reading on the Everyday Tarot podcast. Just as a reminder, the podcast comes out daily, Monday through Friday for all of 2025. Let me put up. And if you want more, you can join the Patreon, which is the QR code is up here. If you want an individual card pulled for you, you can join the Lovers level for $6.66 a month, where I will pull a card for you at the end of every new moon collective tarot reading. So you'll get your own card pull every month. And yeah, you can email me, me@CamilleASaunders.com with your thoughts, questions, and more. And I will see you soon. Thanks for joining me today. Goodbye.